Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new NSL live talk. And my guests today are from Sweden. It is Ulf Liljenbeck on the top and Matthias Nord on the bottom, and they are Echochamber members, as we all know. And we are live, from Sweden. How are you guys doing? I guess the whole world thinks probably that Sweden is doing great. You know, the Swedes have a good time. You're out partying and celebrating while the whole world is dealing with the coronavirus. That's how it's coming across, you know, because everybody says, or the media says, everything is easier and different in Sweden. Let's start with you, Ulf, because you know probably everything. You are just Ulf, if I may explain that quickly. Ulf is, explain it by yourself, please. You know what you're doing there. He works for the government as a translator. So give us an idea quickly, Ulf.
Yeah. Hi, guys. Well, actually, I'm self-employed. I work as a sign language interpreter. And I got an assignment from the government to do the sign language interpreting on the daily press conferences that the authorities here in Sweden are doing at 2:00 p.m. So this is actually the first day in 7 or 8 weeks, weekday at 2:00. Actually, it's 3:00 right now, but 2:00 when I'm not standing there working.
Why not today?
They decided because tomorrow is the 1st of May. So they decided that many people in Sweden work half days. The day before a day like that everything is closed. So they just decided to not have a press conference today and tomorrow.
Explain quickly what the 1st of May means. I mean, here in the United States, as far as I know, the 1st of May is just another day. So in Europe, it's a little bit different, right?
It is, yeah. It's do you know, Matthias? Because it's like it used to be like a protest for the workers are protesting for better terms.
Yeah, maybe Matthias knows a little bit more. Matthias.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we had a public holiday or a free day that was there for the workers to communicate the rights in the society. So, and then it has stayed, but of course there is also the 1st of May demonstrations where people express their opinions of workers' rights and how, you know, relationship between employers and employees. And so it is a public holiday, but nowadays less people are on the street protesting. And I think, like you said, Kurt, that people are enjoying their time in the sun.
Yeah, is it sunny in Sweden
doing
now?
Barbecue.
Yeah. Well, it is probably. Is it? What's the weather in Sweden like now? Is it jumping weather?
Yeah, it's starting to be, but we have not starting to jump yet as a nation. But pretty soon, the association, I think, will open up the opportunity, or they have a strong recommendation that we will not jump right now. So we are waiting for them to open it up so we can jump in a secure environment.
So back to the 1st of May, it is probably similar to the Labor Day in the United States, which is, I think, a different date.
Yeah, that's probably exactly the same.
Similar purpose, but
Workers' Day.
Yeah, exactly. So Workers' Day, basically. Well, it fits probably, I don't know, maybe this time it will be more significant because especially the workers seem to suffer more than, you know, they're losing jobs. And so I wonder if it creates more awareness. But anyway, where are you? I guess, Ulf, you are probably in Stockholm because that's the capital city. And since you work together with the government, you know, live on the stage there, you are probably in Stockholm?
Yeah, correct.
That's where you live?
Yes.
And Matthias, you are not?
No, I'm 260 kilometers northwest of Stockholm in the countryside. Me and my wife, Jessica, we moved here last year in May. So 1 year ago, we moved here to have a calmer life. It's a small village, 2,000 people, and
nice.
it's a nice life.
Does it have a coffee shop and a bar?
It's pretty much fitted in the same place. So it's a restaurant, a coffee shop, and a bar.
Oh, good. So how far, I mean, the wind tunnel where Echochamber is training is in Stockholm. And
Yeah.
so you have like a 2.5, 3 hour drive from where you are to go training, indoor training?
Yeah, it's the same for me and Johan. We have approximately the same trip to the tunnel, about 3 hour one way. So we quit working at, middle of the day, meet up in the tunnel for preparation at 4, and then we train until 9 in the evening, and then you're back home at, midnight.
Mm-hmm. And the drop zone, Ulf, how far is Gritchem, right? How far is Gritchem from Stockholm?
It's 110 kilometers from the central of Stockholm. So it takes an hour and 20 minutes approximately. If you're not in a really hurry, then obviously you can drive faster.
Does that make it any closer for you, Matthias, or is it on the other side? Is it even further?
It's approximately the same.
Okay.
Like Grytjom, our drop zone is located approximately in the middle between Stockholm and here. So.
Well,
but for Johan, it's for Johan, he's living south up, so for him it's another additional, well, 11 or 110 kilometers.
But Gritchem is not open yet anyway, so there is no jumping yet. So that's a rumor that everything is totally normal in Sweden at this point in time.
Pretty much. Well, you started to touch the subject earlier that everybody in Sweden just lives as normal, just life going on, which in a sense is true. We're not locked down. The government here, they are talking more about recommendation, which we have a long history of listening to the authorities in Sweden. So for us and the culture in Sweden, we listen to the recommendation, and we can also understand that it is not a recommendation per se. It's just a rule, but it's not law. You don't have to buy it if you don't want to, but there will be consequences. So it's pretty much the same. Yeah, it's pretty much the same in jumping. There's a strong recommendation not to jump. Although in the south there's a couple of clubs that are jumping. They take precautions with the social distancing and everything. So they are jumping.
How is it? How is it with a wind tunnel?
It is almost closed. I think it's closed. We talked to the wind tunnel with the management, and if we wanted, we could have trained, because they said it could open up for us just to train. Would be alone in the facilities. But then again, we talked about it. Johan is a firefighter, and he has the work, and it will affect not only him but his family if he drives to, and also Matthias, to Stockholm, because in Stockholm is the biggest spreading of the virus. So again, the authorities, they are really strongly recommending that you do not travel between parts of Sweden. And we tried to listen to that and follow those recommendations. So we decided not to practice.
So Matthias, for you on the countryside, are there any cases already there in the small town where you are, or are you still all healthy there?
I have not heard of any cases in the small village where I live, but in the landscape where I live, there is a of 100 infected, and I don't know about deaths.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think it's 76 that has died in this landscape.
76 in the area.
Yes. Oh, yeah, but it's a quite big area. We have.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah, Sweden has a large countryside area. How many percent of the population live in Stockholm?
There'd be 10, 15. I think it's 1.5 million with Stockholm and the surrounding area. And the total population would be 10 million in Sweden, approximately.
Yeah. Well, when was the last time that you have been active in four-way in the tunnel or or jumping? When did you make your last jump from an airplane, actually?
That was last year, but last time in the tunnel was before the restriction came super effective in the beginning of March.
Hmm.
So now we are
Okay.
quite eager, but now we have come to a conclusion that we will start to train in the tunnel again the 11th of May and use the precautions that our government, say that we're going to use to take care of that we don't catch or spread the virus if we have it, and we will use those same precautions when the jumping starts opening.
It sounds actually very similar. The situation sounds very similar as in the United States, where everything is also just more or less, maybe not in New York, a recommendation. So it's up to the population to follow the rules and the recommendations, but they are not really consequences, for it. So it sounds very similar actually between Sweden and the United States, at least. While the Central European countries seem to be way more restrictive with everything, enforcing things more than others.
Yeah.
So we have had some interesting recent changes, obviously, as you surely know. The World Meet has been cancelled. That was a shocker, of course, for everybody. Not really so unexpected, I guess, right? You saw that coming, I would guess.
Yeah, we did.
So let's talk about a little bit of the implications of it. We know some responses. Now USPA was very quick with reacting to this. Has the Swedish association, which is sanctioning you, the national team, I guess, have they been in touch with you? Have you been discussing the situation now?
Not yet. They sent out a message that they will have a meeting soon and they will communicate whatever they decide. So we'll see.
Because you do have, I mean, I don't know how it is at the moment, but at least in the past, there was competition. So Echochamber was not the only team. You had to work your way up to the top. You didn't get it just by the association, as it is in some other countries at least, where there's only one. Like in England, well, there's a little bit competition open at least. So you had to work your way to beat the opponent. So there could be competition, which means the qualification and the sanctioning is crucial, right? To how it's going to happen.
Yes, of course, and we will see what the association decides, and also if there will be, if our nationals will be held in August as planned, or
August.
late July, August. If it's going to be still on or not, we have not got the final notice, and then we will also see what the association decides. How it's going to be, but our intention is to go there and do it, do it good. So we will be the victors of the Swedish nationals, and either way make the decision for the association easy.
How did Echochamber take it? I mean, did you feel like your first thoughts about this? Was it more like, oh, great, we have another year now to get ready for the World Meet? Or did you feel like, oh shit, we were so ready to win our bronze medals, and now we have to wait for a year? How did it feel at the first moment?
Anders, yeah, Matthias.
I'm kind of simple about it. To me, it was only, oh fuck, now we lose all this, you know, tunnel and skydiving. I love skydiving and tunnel. So now I work instead, and then to me, I lost out on a lot of fun with the boys that I would have had otherwise. And now we have decided to, you know, go for Tanai 2021 instead. So, but this will be, so to say, an in-between season.
Yeah.
We don't have the time or the money and time to spend like two like really busy seasons. So we will try to make a little bit of progress this year, and then go harder, and hopefully also like make the season longer, because our jumping season was planned to start about now. So we will start to jump end of May maybe, and then have fewer training camps this year than that was planned from the beginning. And then hopefully during the autumn and winter get some more jumping in, so we can have a more consistent travel towards Tanai 2021. So
it's an additional year of fun with the boys for you.
yeah, but we had a more intense plan actually planned than we now going to execute. So it's going to be fewer jumps and fewer hours of tunnel, but we will have more of that next year instead. And also hopefully this autumn and winter.
Yeah, and don't forget to schedule, you know, a training camp in March in Florida, and then go to the Shamrock Showdown. You know, get a bunch of jumps done here. Beautiful weather in March, except for today, it's raining. And then get the competition, you know, in a world media. But anyhow, how is it for you? You know, you appear often in the end. Oh, by the way, I looked up the records and all that. Is that really possible that this is the first NSL live talk actually that, well, I don't have the whole Echochamber gang here, but at least two of the members. I think it's the first. I could not find. Matthias has been in Coach's Corner and that kind of stuff before, right? For NSL live talk, but I think as a team that's the first time we're doing it, right?
Yeah, it is the first. Matthias jumped in. You talked to Joey at the Nationals, that'd be last year, I think, or a year before
correct.
that.
Yeah.
But as a team, NSL live talk, this would be the first. Yeah.
No, so we have to arrange it, do it again at some point when the whole team is actually present. Maybe in the evening or so, you know, if it's a better time. Although you say Johan is working as a fireworker, so he has probably shifts, I would guess.
Actually, he moved up, so he's one of the commanding officers or whatever it's called. So he's we tease him for that. He's not driving the fire truck anymore. He's driving a regular car and just doing the desk work.
Good for him.
So we're teasing him about that. And then he said like firmly that the smaller car is also red, and it's also a government car, so it's also a fire truck-ish.
It is so funny to watch it. I'm going to feed in a video of you, Ulf, later on at some point of your work. But you, even when you're speaking now, you know, you are so much. Your hands are going along with your speaking. You know, I don't do that. You know, I just usually sit there and do nothing with my hands, or so I'm picking my nose maybe or something. But that's all. And you are speaking with your hands naturally.
Yeah, it comes with the work, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. So for the normal training operation, you know, you are the, also where I was going with that is actually, you appear in the NSL news on a regular basis, you know, in the so-called amateur, pro-amateur scenario. You know, you are amateurs, pure amateurs. Each of you has a job, a 9-to-5 job, if you can say so. So you're training on the weekends. You know, you're investing your own money and all that. Maybe a little bit support from the federation, government, whatever. I don't know, because you're the national team. But how is the daily operation? Are you in a situation? It seems to me like Matthias, you saying 250 kilometers or whatever, roughly, and you are on the same. That is not close enough to really just say one day after work we want to meet and go to the tunnel. You are restricted to the weekends for jumping and tunneling. Do I see that correctly?
No, we actually tunnel on weekdays.
We do.
So both me and Johan finish job early. So we leave home after lunch, and then we come home very late that night. So we only lose a half-day job a week, so to say, when we go to tunnel. But then, like you say, our skydiving practice is every second week, Thursday to Sunday. So we make use of, the weekend. Yeah. So, but this year it's going to be longer in between training, but next week we're going to try to have this every second week schedule.
Next year will become now a very interesting year, not only, you know, because for all the implications now of the virus, but with a new schedule, we have the indoor and the outdoor world championship next year. Have you already thought about how you're going to handle that?
Yeah, we did talk about that since the next bigger competition is now indoor, not outdoor. So we were talking about that, how we should practice till October. Shall we go indoor and train for that competition, or are we going to do the outdoor season approximately as we thought? So, and then we decided on the skydiving part. So we will skydive and practice outdoor until the season is over, and then we go indoor and practice for the World Cup.
Where do you see? I know, you know, you are outspoken about it, so I'm not really exposing anything here, but you know, your defined goal is to win medals. Sweden has not won a medal yet in four-way open. You know, there was a time when the team was pretty close, but never really close enough to win a medal yet. Now you are close enough, you know, to be a contender for the medals. Where do you see your better chances actually in if you're thinking about this? There's an indoor-outdoor opportunity now. I mean, I have to say, let me correct this quickly. Sweden has won a medal in four-way women, right? So that was in, I think it's silver or bronze in 2001.
Yes.
And but never in four-way. Matthias?
Yeah, and also in Australia.
Oh yeah, right. Team X, correct. Yeah,
Yes.
forgot about that. Yes, thank you. Sorry, Team X. I didn't have it present.
And then the old boys from '74, they took a silver. They was not called old boys. They was called Gräsedojan. I have grass in my shoe, but they took a silver medal in '74, I think.
You're saying 1974, 1974. Yeah, okay. Wow.
So that's
I didn't know that.
It's thin with medals in the open category. But it's very intriguing and very interesting to, you know, be as close, so you know what it takes to have it, and also we feel when we are skydiving and tunneling at the pace that's needed. Of course, we don't do it all the time because then we would already have a medal. But some parts of our training and competition right now, it's already good enough for a medal. But we just have to do more of that speed and consistency, and that's what we are practicing for right now. So we are working with Niklas Hemlin.
You do?
Yeah, quite a lot of the technical side to get our consistency better and take some noise out of our jumping. And we have had quite a lot of progress with that. We are still in the early stages of that. So now we are working a lot of clean, precise jumping, and we have not put so much speed practice into it yet, but it seems like the system that we are now building together with Niklas can take more speed at the end. Because before, when we have been going at our maximum speed, it has also been a little bit rough. So
yeah, we are all used to that, when and whenever we clean it up, all of a sudden it becomes faster, right? Interesting.
Yeah.
So you picked another Swede for your coaching. Are you speaking Swedish with him? Is he still proficient with his?
Oh yeah.
oh yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and he falls back to his old the way he speaks,
Right.
like from Gothenburg. So
The dialect is still there.
Yeah.
Great. Were you ever in a team together with him, Matthias? With
Oh
Niklas?
yes,
Right? Velo, or
Yeah.
which team was it?
Velox.
Velos. Okay.
So
Velox.
we were picked 96 for a Swedish project, me and Niklas. And then the year after that, we formed a team together with the former champion Rickard Löfberg. That was called Team Velox. So we won 3 consecutive goals with that team Velox. 97, 98, 99.
I remember the days. I think I will dig in a little bit and see what I can find about Niklas and Matthias together. Let's see how far it is gonna go. He was probably still having a beer once in a while at that time, right? With you?
Yeah. No, but I think it's now 5 or 6 years since he has his last beer.
Yeah, those
Maybe
days
we can trick him over to the dark side.
Yeah. So what I was getting to when my earlier question, you are an amateur team, a typical amateur team, weekends, own money, blah blah, and you want to win a medal in four-way, but you are dealing with very strong teams, indoor and outdoor. I mean, wouldn't it be logically easier if you would just pick one event and totally put all your resources, energies, into this one event, indoor or outdoor, to get to a medal level? Because doing both is just a lot. The pro teams can do it, obviously, I guess, even though it's becoming more difficult for them. If I look at the Wemby high rollers, that's only an indoor team because they feel they can only get to the top or win. They want to win. If they do only one of the events. Did you talk about this with the team? Are you talking about it?
Yeah, and we did do that distinction last year after or earlier actually after Arizona last year, that we were going for Tanai. So already starting at last year's season, we had the goal set for August this year. So that'd be outdoor. So we have been doing all our indoor training with rigs on.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and we took the rigs off before wind games, obviously, for an hour. So, and we went to the Wing Games with knowing that we didn't have the speed to be a top contender because we haven't trained indoor. But we wanted to go there to get the competition experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we need that. We need to be better at competing, to manage the first round, all the coming rounds, and the nervousness and the pressure and everything that comes with competing. So that's why we went there.
So you are looking really more at the outdoor competition, training competition is the #1 priority.
Yes.
Okay. So well, one more reason.
And we train, all the training, like Ulf said, we do with the rigs on indoor.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just take them off for a little bit of time to get the weight distribution, you know, back in the bodies. But the way we skydive right now, we skydive for an outdoor environment. It's not like tunnel, you know, tweaked, or so to say.
Yeah. Explain the difference for us, if you may, you know, between flying in the tunnel with and without the gear on.
It's much heavier.
Yes.
It's heavier for the body with the rig on.
Is it a different flying technique that you're actually applying, or is it basically the same how you use your knees, hips, arms? Is that all exactly the same, or does it change it slightly, heavily, or not at all?
It changes your body pitch a little bit. You get your chest a little bit more down with the rig on. And what we target in the blocks, even though we are indoor, we work on the levels more to have it as a natural part of our skydiving when we go outdoor later. So we watch a little bit more for the fine details that in the tunnel comes naturally, because you have the visual reference of the net and you have the visual reference of the glass. So some of the stuff that we are now looking to see in the tunnel and take time to see in the tunnel, we actually don't have to, you know, look for it, because in the tunnel environment you have the net to keep you flat and all that. But we are trying to look for the details in the techniques that we need to have with us into open air skydiving, and hopefully the transition will be less. We don't have to spend, you know, 50 jumps to get used to jumping again. We will be more natural, flat, and more naturally looking for the correct angles in the blocks and techniques, and so we can put most emphasis on the hill.
We have 5 minutes left. Unfortunately, I just got the message from Zoom that we are coming to our end here. So I still want to finish this up with one quick question, Matthias, if you can. You were first only the coach for Echochamber. Then you became player coach. Now you have an external coach. How does that feel for you now? Is it difficult for you to kind of just listen to Niklas now and not being the leader, you know, as of the coaching?
I think we do a pretty good job of sharing the work, me and Niklas. Okay. Niklas is not with us all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So we do some of the training ourselves, and we follow it up with video analysis with Niklas later. And so I do now some part of the job and Niklas do some part of the job, and the team as a unit has always been very good at assimilating new ideas and, you know, daring to try new stuff. So to me, it's very rewarding to also get this constant feedback from Niklas,
mm-hmm.
and also being a part of how we assimilate it and develop it to our own stuff in the team. Because always before, I have been coaching, so to say, on paths that I already walked. but now we are very close to, you know, the scores that I have, you know, done before. So now it's super good to have this input from Niklas, but also that we are used to assimilate and develop information in between ourselves. So I think it's a good mix.
Are they doing a good job, Ulf? Your coaches? Yeah.
Oh yeah, they are. No, but as Matthias said, we do listen to coaches, and that's you can ask Andy about that, because when he said that slow down guys, you should have seen us. We were super slow. Yeah, you ask him, and then he'll tell you.
Andy growls, you mean? No.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, guys, yeah, we have to stop now because I would hate to miss the official, you know, goodbye and thank yous and all that kind of stuff. So that was super interesting, and I hope, you know, that eventually we will be able to follow up with the whole team. Maybe we can organize it. I know it's difficult. For me, it's always easy. I'm just a one-person operation here, but getting a whole team together, it's much more challenging. Please, I mean, first of all, thank you very much for taking the time and organizing it. Especially, you know, for the two of you, it was not easy anyway. and please say, you know, say something in Swedish for the goodbye, for the whatever you have to say at the end of it, so people can hear a little bit Swedish too before we are done here. Thanks again, and I can only say it in English. So when it's your turn now in Swedish.
So thank you, Kurt, for the wonderful work that you do for our sport, and we are privileged to be here. Och tack alla ni i Sverige och tack alla som lyssnar.
Vi hälsar från Sverige. Ha en riktigt trevlig helg. För oss blir det en lång helg. Vi tänker gå ut i solen, för det får vi här i Sverige. Så tack, ha det så bra. Hej på er.
Bye bye, Kurt.
Excellent.
Bye, Kurt. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you very much.